What is up, you muffin munch and muggles? Welcome to Fiction and Reality. Hey, let's just talk about how bad I think the story of Halo Campaign Evolved is. Let me start by saying that I have never played a Halo game in my life up until now, which means you are getting a completely unbiased opinion. But I do remember all the ex-sped kids talking about Halo like it was a vat of PCP mushrooms or bath salts, completely blowing them out of this world. However, after playing Halo Campaign Evolved, I am still sober like always, though the endless and lifeless surge of enemies this game throws out, which is later explained by the Flood's broken containment, will make you feel like Itachi Uchiha trapped you in some sort of devilish genjutsu. This video will explain and analyze major plot points of the main story of Halo Campaign Evolved and reinforce my perspective on why I believe the plot is lackluster and short-lived. Halo Campaign Evolved is a story that primarily focuses on the ignorance of failing to look below the surface value of foreign elements within the world, failing to seek understanding where it's needed, and being blinded by one's own preconceived notions how the universe should work, or forcing those ideas on each other, which in the case of Halo revolves around the conflict between humanity, the Covenant, and the Halo ring itself, and the Flood. In other words, Halo explores how forcing things one might not understand through an already existing perspective of the world simply to reinforce their scope of ideologies for their own selfish or simplified reasons punishes them for viewing the world through a narrow scope. I keep saying I think Halo Campaign Evolved's story completely falls short, but let's give a bit of background here before I get to the inflection point as to why, so that you all understand how the Flood, the UNSC, and the Covenant all coexist to shape the narrative at large. When you first start Halo Campaign Evolved, the story begins with the UNSC Space Command ship named the Pillar of Autumn being infiltrated by the Covenant after a failed attempt to lose them through a space jump, leaving Captain Keyes to issue an order for full evac and for the soldiers to assume their combat positions. Knowing the ship is going down, Master Chief is tasked with protecting Cortana from being captured or destroyed, then exits via an escape pod, where, holy shit, there's a damn Halo ring floating in the middle of space that you then descend into to find terraformed like a planet. After fielding the rescue of many UNSC troops crashing down onto the Halo ring, we eventually learn that Captain Keyes gets captured by the Covenant, for which you have to embark on another mission, fighting through waves of the aliens to infiltrate one of their ships to recover him. Now, this is a pivotal part of the story because it anchors the Covenant's significant relationship to the Halo with their cultural beliefs, and in my opinion, establishes them as a focal point in the story. It's here that Cortana accesses the Covenant's battle net and explains that the ring they've landed on has some sort of religious significance to the Covenant, and that they've named it Halo, some weapon with vast, unimaginable power they seek to release. Now, it's extremely obvious that the Covenant are like this extremely religious, obsessed alien race, so much so that when you engage them in combat, you can hear them call you a non-believer or heretic, which is someone who holds beliefs that go against the official or accepted rules. The entire story of Halo is then anchored around A, the Covenant seeking the power of Halo, and B, the UNSC and Master Chief tasked with stopping the Covenant from obtaining it, assuming that this is some type of weapon. Now this creates a gripping mystery that absolutely pulled the players in, and for what little air was left to grasp within the story, made them want to keep pushing forward. You have the mystery of the ring, you have this huge alien race that's waging war against humanity to cover up the truth about the Forerunners, a race they believe to be godlike. What made a lot of Halo Campaign Evolved's story good were the secrets surrounding the ring, and like everyone knows, when a secret gets revealed and it's been stringing you along the entire story, well, it better be worth it in the end, right? There are so many alluring elements of the ring. Silent Cartographer, which is a map room that you essentially have to fight through to get into, which reveals some sort of strong-like object and pinpoints the exact location of the control center of the ring. In the control center, it's unveiled that the Covenant found something absolutely horrible in the ring that they are afraid of. Cortana tells you that the ring was created by the Forerunners, and she warns you to stop Keyes from entering a facility to secure its weapons cache because he's in danger. Later, you learn that the Forerunners created the ring to stop the Flood and contain them. But in my opinion, aside from the bullet spongy endless waves, narratively, I think Halo Campaign Evolved and the Halo 1 story in general, right, screwed up with introducing the Flood by switching the focus from the Covenant's sort of hostile-seeking endeavors and the deep history of the ring to containing a mindless zombie-like horde of enemies within it. It almost felt like the story was flipping between its identities midway through. Not to say the hunt for what little secrets were revealed wasn't gripping at all. Do you think the Flood's introduction was a genuine narrative misstep, or a deliberate bait and switch meant to subvert player expectations about what kind of story this was. Just like this bait and switch. If you're enjoying the video, go hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell for notification, or I'll send the flood after you. Hey, we wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Dubby Energy, for sponsoring this video. If you're tired of getting mogged in your game because you're feeling a little sleepy, oh, feeling a little sleepy, you pussy. Well, wake up! Dubby specializes in focus energy drinks that shock you awake, and unlike other gamer juice, is free from fillers, artificial colors, dyes, and other ingredients that make you crash. They've got a huge catalog of exquisite flavors to choose from, and if you're an anime fan, they've even got official license collabs with some of your favorite heavy hitters. And if you're more heavy on the collector side of things, well, Dubby's got you with a huge catalog of collector cups with your favorite characters on them. So what's the holdup? Get your hot waifu anime cup, wake the hell up, and check them out at dubby.gg, linked in the description below, and use promo code FICTION for 10% off your order, and let them know who sent you. As a first-time Halo player, one of the largest pitfalls of the Halo campaign Evolved story was the plot twist introducing the Flood, in my opinion. On your way to rescue Captain Keyes, you encounter this virulent horde called the Flood. After stumbling upon soldiers who were ambushed and killed, or rather infected by them, and then transform into these horrible-looking monstrosities that spread their infection spores throughout. Now, the issue isn't the existence of the Flood itself, right? What the story does with the Flood that ruins the momentum of the plot and sort of turns the game into a mindless and endless sequence of running from or shooting at these bullet sponges that eat clips of your ammo without even so much as flinching, it seems. Upon returning to extract, you're taken by Guilty Spark 343, who tells you his job is to activate the Halo's defenses and prevent them from leaving the ring by activating the installation by retrieving something called the index from the library. After you retrieve the index and are transported to the control room by Guilty Spark, Cortana reveals the plot twist of the story. The Halo ring itself was created by the Forerunners to contain the Flood by eliminating its food sources, meaning all sentient life in the entire galaxy, including humans, risk being wiped out if that Halo was activated. And that's a part that Guilty Spark 343 left out. Sometimes I wonder if the plot twist even made sense given where the story was actually headed. But to just briefly analyze the thematic significance of this, the Covenant initially thought that the ring was some device they could harness, which would give them some sort of godlike ascension once activated. The humans thought that the Halo ring was a weapon that the Covenant was trying to use against them. And you can even hear Master Chief propose in the control room how in the world they could possibly maybe utilize this ring against the Covenant. As I said before, Halo Campaign Evolved is a story that primarily focuses on the ignorance of failing to look below the surface value of foreign elements you encounter within the world, failing to seek understanding where it's needed, and being blinded by one's own preconceived notions of how the universe should work, or forcing those ideas on others, which in the case of Halo revolves around the conflict between humanity, the Covenant, and the Halo ring itself and the Flood. The Covenant are intoxicated with pressing their religion on the galaxy, and they wanted this ring to be something so badly that they blindly sought out to activate it without knowing it would destroy them and all sentient life in the galaxy. And Master Chief himself was woven up in his savior complex, and in fact reveals his proclivity to blindly follow orders as long as he believes his motives and intentions are just and right. This doesn't speak to any stepwise progression of internal growth throughout the rest of the game, however. From the point in Halo Campaign Evolved, when the ring is found out to be a containment structure for the Flood, everything begins to center around finding the way to destroy the Halo ring's primary firing mechanisms, which involves destroying conduits at each of the Halo pulse generators to destabilize the ring, and using the Autumn's nuclear reactor to destroy the ring. Unfortunately, the game from this point onward becomes you just slinging bullets at almost seemingly endless waves of the Flood. And the huge misdirection of the story itself, focusing on containing the Flood by destroying the ring, in my opinion, sort of almost sidelines the Covenant, right? I mean, there is absolutely no narrative initiative aside from the Covenant being religiously motivated to activate the ring. This enemy that you've been fighting for about more than half the game, mind you. It's almost as if the threat of them being present doesn't really matter to the story anymore, in my opinion. It was a complete 180 for sure, going from fighting this religiously absorbed, self-absorbed alien race to a sci-fi zombie-like bullet sponge horror. The Flood itself is clearly a mindless horde of enemies that has no prerogative other than spreading more spores and infecting whoever they can. They aren't a narratively interesting group of creatures, in my opinion, but simply defined by how dangerous they are. Characters, including the enemies, need motivations, in my opinion, to flourish as they press onwards. It's like Halo flips the switch to some sort of horror-esque sci-fi film and loses the plot for me. After you destroy the Halo Ring's generators, Master Chief finds himself in pursuit of rescuing Captain Keyes, who once again gets captured and who is being held up in a Covenant cruiser overrun by the Flood. Cortana communicates that when the Covenant found the Flood on the Halo Ring, they were all ordered to escape, but the cruiser was overwhelmed and disabled by the Flood itself. Fighting through many Covenant who were tasked with eliminating the Flood, I'd like to see how that would turn out. You arrive to find Captain Keyes already turned and in anguish, and still unfortunately, due to the lack of proximity with respect to his character Master Chief in the story, you unfortunately feel very little for him in this given situation. The rest of the game unfortunately becomes you fighting through wave after wave after wave of tanky bullet sponge Flood, sometimes of course getting your head sort of whacked off by a random rocket launcher, but it seriously gets draining, and it's because there's little that fans out in the conflict leading towards the resolution of the story while you're en route to destroy the Autumn's nuclear reactors and blow up the ring. Once again, do you think the Halo Ring twist even makes sense given where the story was heading, or do you feel this was sort of cliche destroying a galaxy destroying weapon before it destroys us situation for sort of plot convenience? Hey, just a quick message. I just launched my Patreon. If you want to support the channel and my creative endeavors so that I can invest back into you, head over to Fiction and Reality on Patreon, linked down below. Depending on the tier, you'll get early viewing privileges to videos before they're uploaded on YouTube, plus the full scripts and essays behind them, exclusive video essays, your name in the credits, and exclusive Discord access when it launches. In some instances, all for the low price of $4. So what are you muggles waiting for? Sign up using the Patreon link in the description below. After my first time playing the Halo campaign through Halo Campaign Evolved, the story, and running through that final sequence, one thing I thought the game was good at doing was genuinely making you think you were going to run out of time after the detonation of the ship's nuclear reactors was sort of on the horizon. I said that the story really starved the player of caring emotionally for any of its characters, and by far its highest point was the mystery of the Halo Ring itself and chasing that. And to give an example, Bowhammer, who was essentially the evac girl on her way to pick you up, got blown up and crashed and burned, and there just wasn't enough for me to feel anything there. Just from my first experience with playing a Halo game, I do assume that a lot of its success likely is in its world building, maybe, at least at this point. In general, the story just wasn't that interesting to me, not to say the gameplay wasn't. That the mystery leading up to what the ring was didn't like keep me on the hook. In some cases, the ring just being a huge galactic Death Star sort of came off as a wasted potential for me given its significance to the Covenant, but you can't argue with blowing up a galaxy-ending death ring before it blows you up first, I guess. Let me know your thoughts below. Did you generally like the story or ending of Halo Campaign Evolved, or Halo 1 for that matter? Forget nostalgia, was the story itself genuinely enjoyable to you? There was one last thing I wanted to talk about. This was my first time ever playing Halo through Halo Campaign Evolved, and there are various reasons I dislike the story in general, though its world building and mystery were gripping until the point of the plot twist to me. For now, I will say that a lot of Halo's story is filled with the dead space of you mowing down waves and waves and waves of Covenant without any significant sort of ripples in the plot that internally shifts something within the character, while leaving you to essentially follow a trail of leads, which involves the map room of the Halo Ring, the silent cartographer, and of course, ultimately the control center of the ring and whatnot. I don't have any bias towards the expat kids back in the day, as war on consoles was ended a long time ago by PC, but the lack of emotional investment in the characters of Halo Campaign Evolved that I had was astronomical. For example, with Captain Keyes' character in the beginning of the game, they try to hit you with the old, if something ever happens to me, give this gun to my daughter. A token of sacrifice, right? The story builds up, and he gets captured after crash landing in the Autumn, and absolutely nothing happens to him until we get to the plot twist with the Flood. And still by that time, you have zero emotional investment in him and actually feel nothing when he dies. You see him once when you wake up, once when you recover from the ship, and then one last time when he's already deleted and webbed up in a whole bunch of the Flood's globby goop. I'm focused on the main campaign here, not the prequel missions. Cortana gets a pass because she's a snarky AI, I guess, and I wasn't really expecting that much out of the character. But even the protagonist of the story, Master Chief, just feels like a big sort of hunky clunky RoboCop with more armor than everyone else, who just tears through the Covenant, mowing people down and whatnot, who appears to lack a great deal of individuality. Overall, I think my expectations for Halo Campaign Evolved story were maybe just too high. I remember being a wee lad and people just absolutely losing their shit over Halo's story. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think a lot of the love for Halo 1's story is fogged up by nostalgia, or do you genuinely enjoy the plot of Halo Campaign Evolved in Halo 1? Because actually playing through the campaign, my opinion is that the story was starved of any internal growth for the characters within it from start to finish. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about Halo Campaign Evolved story? Don't forget to join our Discord link below. Great sense of community, and vent in the gaming channel there about all you want to. You can also follow my IG page at LM23 and other socials in the link below. If you want more analysis of your favorite fictional characters and worlds, go ahead and smash that like button, turn on that notification bell, and subscribe for more. The direction of progress is forward, and it's only up from here. With that, remember, if you're ever lost in force, your words strip your mind from fantasy and look to the window of the world, and there your mind will run free.